Hello and welcome to another TLDR Brexit Explained video. It might feel as though Brexit's been going on forever and will never actually end, but it looks like there's not long left for current negotiations. At the end of the year, Britain's set to finally leave the EU, with a deal or not. But sooner than that, Johnson's set a deadline in the middle of October, by which point he wants to have reached a deal. With so little time left and the government still regularly floating the idea of a no deal, some are questioning the government's intentions. In this video, we'll be taking a look at whether the government actually wants a deal, or if they'd secretly prefer a no deal outcome. If you didn't know already, TLDR UK is just one of the TLDR channels. There's also TLDR US, EU and Daily. If you like this channel, then odds are you'll also be interested in our coverage of Sweden's lockdown technique, the European Army, the 2020 election, and the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as well as all of our daily news briefings. You can find links to all of the channels down below. Thanks so much for your support. So, on to the topic at hand. Does the government want a no deal? If you follow UK politics, you'd be forgiven for being a little bit confused about this question. The government spends half of its time talking about how much it wants a comprehensive Canada-style free trade agreement, and it spends the other half talking about how ready it is for no deal. Last week, in front of the Liaison Committee, Boris Johnson said that he wanted a zero-tariff, zero-quota deal, and this was just a couple of days after he introduced the Internal Markets Bill, which reneges on the withdrawal agreement, and the Prime Minister said that no deal would be a good outcome. David Frost, the UK's chief negotiator, said that it would be great to get a deal, but that the UK isn't scared of no deal in the same interview. Same thing with Dominic Raab, who said that the UK would love a trade deal, but that the UK wouldn't hang around to get one. And the same thing with Michael Gove, who said that the government is committed to securing a comprehensive free trade agreement with the EU and is ready to be flexible, but also that the UK doesn't need a trade deal. Now, this isn't entirely surprising, or even always contradictory, because the government might deliberately not tell the truth. After all, if we assume that the government does want a deal, you'd still expect them to say that we are ready for no deal, so that the prospect of no deal could be used as leverage in negotiations. Alternatively, if they actually just want a no deal, you'd still expect them to say publicly that they want a deal, so that they could blame the no-deal chaos on EU intransigence, arguing that they tried to avoid it, even if they didn't. But all of this does still beg the question, what does the government actually want? Well, before we start on this question, a quick disclaimer. We obviously don't know the answer to the question. We don't have any journalistic access to Boris Johnson, or for that matter, basically anyone. This is just us going through some of the possibilities. Anyway, back to the core question. What does the government want? Well, there are actually two questions to unpack here. Whether the government thinks that no deal will genuinely be a good outcome for the UK, and whether the government thinks that no deal will be a good thing for their party politically. To start with the first question, the answer probably depends on the deal that's being offered. Is no deal better than the alternative? Johnson and his government seem to want three things from the deal. A free trade agreement, so no tariffs or quotas, control over fishing waters, and control over state aid. Now, fishing is mainly just a political thing. Brexit promised UK fishermen control over their own waters, and Johnson knows it's politically important to deliver on that promise. But he also knows that fishing is about 0.1% of GDP, so the differences in fishing stocks aren't exactly going to change the future of the UK. So while Johnson and his government may primarily be interested in fishing for the politics, they do seem to think that complete freedom over state aid will be really important for the future of the UK, especially the tech sector. According to reports, and what can be inferred from Dominic Cummings' blog, the government wants to use state subsidies to seed innovative tech companies, basically so that the UK can have its own tech giants like Google and Apple. Again though, the ideal outcome for the government would be to get all three: a free trade agreement, control over fishing, and control over state aid. Hypothetically, they could get all of these through a deal, but a no deal only gives them the last two, and causes some short to medium term disruption at the border. But the government, or at least Dominic Cummings, might genuinely think that the no-deal disruption is a price worth paying for control over state aid, especially if it means the UK gets its own Google at some point. however unlikely that may be in reality. But this is all quite long term. The no-deal disruption could last a year or two, according to the Bank of England's 2018 forecasts. And even with complete control over state aid, the UK won't have its own Google for a good few years, if they ever even emerge. So even if the UK government thinks that no deal might actually turn the UK into some sort of Silicon Valley on sea, which would be great, it won't happen for at least a few years, which makes things politically difficult for the government, especially at the next election. Which leads us nicely onto the second, more interesting question. Does the government think no deal would be good for them politically? Well, you'd think that the government would be keen to avoid any short-term no-deal chaos, given that the government and Prime Minister's approval ratings are both already dropping. However, it's also worth noting that Conservative voting intention is conspicuously higher, at around 40%. The Tories' approval rating might be sitting at about 30% since May. Boris Johnson might be losing to Starmer in the Best Prime Minister polls, and they might even have a negative 33% net approval for their handling of the coronavirus crisis, the lowest it's ever been. But regardless, the Conservatives still haven't really polled below Labour in voting intention polling, since, well, last year actually. Now, the most recent YouGov polling from September 18th puts the Conservatives and Labour at neck and neck at 40%. The point is that the Conservatives have maintained a 40% poll rating, but only around a 30% approval rating, which means there's about 10% of people who don't approve of Johnson or his government, but still would vote for them over anyone else. So, who are these 10% of people? Well, that's really the core question here. They might well be ardent Brexiteers, who don't generally like the Conservatives, but think they're more likely than Labour to deliver a true Brexit. If this is the case, then a no deal might be good for the Conservatives politically. It might help them keep these voters, even if Nigel Farage decides to restart the Brexit Party, as he's currently threatening to do. However, if these 10% are actually voters who are just bored of Brexit, who want the Conservatives to get Brexit done, and perhaps just dislike Labour more than the Conservatives, then no deal would not be a good move politically. Because, to these voters, it will likely make the Conservatives seem incompetent and maybe even break up the union. Ultimately, if these voters are just bored of Brexit and aren't ardent Brexiteers, then this could easily play into the existing and ongoing narrative that the Conservatives are incompetent. I mean, they said that a deal would be easy, and then they failed. If you're just an average voter and not an ardent no-deal Brexiteer, then the no-deal disruption and maybe even Scottish independence chaos is too high a price to pay for freedom over state aid and the Brexiteer dream of absolute UK sovereignty. So this is the key point for the government. If these 10% are hardcore Brexiteers, then no deal makes political sense for the government. But if they're just voters that disapprove of the Conservatives, but disapprove of Labour more, then no deal is going to make them more likely to move over to Labour's side, or even to the Lib Dems. And it's hard for the government to decide here, because there are two separate precedents pulling in different directions. In 2019, when it was first launched, Nigel Farage's Brexit Party took a whole chunk of the Conservative voters in polling. And with Labour so close behind them in current polls, they're obviously worried that making any concessions to get a deal could mean them losing this 10% to Nigel Farage's next party, whatever it ends up being called. However, also last year, Johnson won his massive majority after securing a deal, even if he didn't know what he was actually signing up to. Regardless, he won the majority on the promise to get Brexit done. So, will a deal mean losing votes to Farage like they did when the Brexit Party first started? Or will it give him the same bounce that promising to get Brexit done did last December? It all depends on the 10%. That's the long and short of it. The government might genuinely think that a no deal is worth it in order to gain control over state aid. But they might also think that it's a good move for them politically, depending on who they believe that 10% of voters actually are. What do you think though? Is no deal a good outcome? And is it good politics for the Conservatives? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when we release more videos like this one. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos like Jeff Bale, Matthias Vinken and Marco Seller, then be sure to back us on Patreon. The link to that's in the description.